My name is Elise Harper, 32 years old, and tonight, I'm stepping into a world I swore I'd left behind. The glittering chandeliers of the Grand Meridian Hotel loom ahead as I adjust the hem of my simple navy dress, a thrift store find I've tailored to fit my frame. My sister, Cassandra Harper, is hosting her annual charity gala here, an event that's less about giving back and more about flaunting her status as the darling of Chicago's elite. For years, she's been the golden child of our family, the one who could do no wrong, while I've been the outcast, the dreamer who dared to choose needles and thread over corporate boardrooms. Tonight, she's invited me to her gala, and I know it's not out of sisterly love. Cassandra never does anything without an agenda. 5 years ago, I walked away from the Harper family's suffocating expectations. Our parents, Victoria and Edward Harper, built a real estate empire that's synonymous with wealth and power in Illinois. Their mantra was clear: success meant Ivy League degrees, corner offices, and marriages that doubled the family's influence.
Cassandra, 4 years my senior, embraced it all.
She graduated from Princeton, married a hedge fund manager named Preston Langley, and now runs a foundation that's more about photo ops than actual impact.
Me?
I was the disappointment, the one who spent her childhood sketching dresses in the margins of textbooks, who begged to apprentice with a local seamstress instead of attending debutante balls. As I approach the hotel's entrance, my stomach twists. The invitation arrived 3 weeks ago, embossed in gold, with Cassandra's looping signature. Elise, join us to celebrate the Harper Foundation's 5th anniversary. Dress to impress. I knew what she meant. This wasn't an olive branch, it was a challenge. Cassandra has always reveled in comparing us, in pointing out how my hobby of fashion design could never match her polished perfection. I almost declined, but something stopped me. Maybe it's the weight of 5 years spent proving myself in a world she'll never understand. Maybe it's the quiet confidence that comes from building something entirely my own. Whatever it is, I'm here now, ready to face her, and the family that never believed in me. The Grand Meridian's lobby is a cathedral of marble and gold, with a spiral staircase leading to the ballroom.
I pause tu stidi my Brit, catching my reflection in a mirrored column.
My navy dress is understated but elegant, with a subtle A-line silhouette and a hand-stitched neckline I spent hours perfecting. My dark hair is swept into a low chignon, and I've kept my accessories minimal: a pair of silver hoop earrings and my grandmother's pearl pendant, the one heirloom I claimed before leaving home. I know Cassandra will see this outfit and smirk, assuming I couldn't afford anything better. Let her. She has no idea what I've built, or what's coming. Before I continue, let me ask, have you ever had to face someone who underestimated you, who thought they knew your worth? Share your story in the comments below, and if you've ever felt the sting of being judged for your dreams, hit that like button. It's a reminder we're not alone in this fight. Growing up in Lake Forest, our family's estate was a monument to ambition. The Harper Mansion, with its ivy-covered walls and manicured gardens, hosted galas where senators mingled with CEOs. My mother, Victoria, was the architect of our social climb, her every move calculated to elevate the family name. My father, Edward, was the silent enforcer, his approval reserved for those who followed his blueprint. Cassandra was their masterpiece, poised, articulate, always dressed in the latest couture. She thrived in their world, her laughter echoing through cocktail parties as she charmed everyone from philanthropists to press. I was different. While Cassandra memorized etiquette manuals, I snuck into the attic to rummage through our grandmother's trunks, filled with vintage fabrics and faded sketches of 1940s gowns. I'd spend hours draping muslin over a dress form I bought with my allowance, teaching myself to cut and sew. Our housekeeper, Rosa, a Puerto Rican woman with a quick smile, saw something in me my parents never did. "You have an eye, Mija," she'd say, watching me pin a hem. "This isn't just sewing. It's storytelling." By 14, I was designing clothes for my friends, turning thrift store finds into one-of-a-kind pieces. By 17, I was selling custom prom dresses to classmates, hiding the money in a shoebox under my bed. My parents didn't approve. "Fashion is for hobbyists," my father declared when I suggested applying to Parsons School of Design. "Harpers don't stitch for a living. We build empires." My mother was more subtle, but no less cutting. "Elise dear, you're creative, but you need a real career. Something stable, like Cassandra's path." Cassandra herself was the cruelest. At family dinners, she'd mock my sketches, calling them cute little doodles, or joking that I'd end up mending socks for minimum wage. Her laughter was a blade, sharp and precise, designed to keep me in my place. To appease them, I enrolled at Northwestern, majoring in business as a compromise. But even there, I found ways to nurture my passion. I took textiles and design electives, sneaking into the art department's sewing lab after hours. I started a side hustle, creating bespoke outfits for campus events, charging just enough to cover materials. My clients were sorority girls, theater majors, even a few professors' wives, all thrilled with my ability to make them feel unique. I used the profits to fund weekend workshops with Chicago's underground designers, learning techniques like draping and embroidery that no textbook could teach. My double life unraveled in my junior year. A local boutique, Atelier V, hosted a student design showcase, and I submitted a collection of 5 dresses inspired by Chicago's architecture. Sharp lines, metallic accents, and flowing silhouettes that mimicked the city's skyline. To my shock, I won first place. The prize included a mentorship with Vivienne Laurent, a French designer whose avant-garde work graced Paris runways. After the showcase, Vivienne pulled me aside, her silver hair glinting under the gallery lights. "Your work has soul," she said, her accent thick but warm. "You're wasting your talent in a classroom. Come to my studio. I'll teach you to be fearless." That moment changed everything. I went home that night, my award still clutched in my hand, and told my parents I was dropping out of Northwestern to pursue fashion full-time. The dining room fell silent, the kind of silence that feels like a storm gathering. My father's face turned to stone. "This is not a negotiation, Elise. You will finish your degree." My mother's voice was colder. "If you choose this path, you're on your own. No trust fund, no support." Cassandra, home for the weekend, leaned back in her chair, smirking. "Always the dramatic one. Let's see how long you last chasing your little sewing dream." I left the next morning with a duffel bag, $2,000 for my prom dress sales, and a one-way bus ticket to New York. The Harper family cut me off, just as they'd promised. Cassandra's parting words haunted me, "You'll come crawling back when you're broke and humiliated." But I didn't. I survived. More than that, I thrived. Under Vivienne's mentorship, I honed my craft, learning to blend structure with fluidity, to create clothes that told stories. 3 years ago, I launched my own label, Elysian Threads, from a tiny loft in Brooklyn. Today, it's a fashion empire, dressing celebrities, gracing Vogue covers, and selling out collections faster than we can produce them. And my family? They know nothing of it. I've kept my success a secret, waiting for the right moment to show them who I've become. That moment is tonight. Cassandra's gala is the stage, and I'm ready to play my part, not as the sister she pities, but as the woman who built an empire she can't touch. The irony is delicious. Her gala is themed Icons of Style, and she's chosen the Grand Meridian, where my designs have dressed half the VIPs in attendance. She doesn't know it, but she's invited me to my own kingdom. As I step into the elevator, my phone buzzes with a text from my assistant, Lila. "Everything's set for tonight. The team's ready. Knocking dead." I smile, slipping the phone into my clutch. Lila's been with me since Elysian's early days, a fellow dreamer who knows what's at stake. The elevator doors open to the ballroom, and I'm hit with a wave of sound, clinking glasses, laughter, the hum of a string quartet. The room is a sea of sequins and tuxedos, with a runway at its center, draped in white velvet. A banner overhead reads, "Harper Foundation Gala, Icons of Style." I scan the crowd, spotting Cassandra near the runway, radiant in a crimson gown that screams designer but lacks originality. She's holding court, her husband Preston at her side, his hand resting possessively on her waist. My parents are nearby, my mother in emerald silk, my father in a tailored tux, both exuding the effortless authority of old money.
I take a deep breath, smoothing my dress one last time.
This is it, the moment I walk back into their world, not as the failure they expect, but as the architect of my own destiny. A young woman in a black uniform approaches, her name tag reading Sophie, event staff. "Miss Harper?" she asks, her voice hesitant. "Your sister asked that you join her table immediately." I nod, following her through the crowd. Heads turn as I pass, not because they recognize me, but because they sense something, an energy, a quiet confidence. Sophie leads me to a central table, where Cassandra is laughing at something Preston said. She notices me and her smile falters, just for a second, before morphing into something saccharine. "Elise," she calls, rising to air kiss my cheeks. "You made it. I was worried you'd get lost in the suburbs." Her tone is light, but the jab is clear. The suburbs. As if I'm still the broke girl she imagines, scraping by in some nowhere town. My parents turn, their expressions a mix of surprise and appraisal. My mother's eyes flick over my dress, her lips pursing slightly. My father offers a stiff nod, his version of warmth. "You look well," my mother says, her tone implying I've missed some unspoken standard. "That dress is interesting. Did you make it yourself?" The question is laced with pity, as if sewing my own clothes is a sign of failure. "I did," I reply, keeping my voice even. "It's one of a kind."
Cassandra Laus, a sharp, practiced sound.
"Oh, Elise, always so crafty. I'm sure it's lovely in its own way." She gestures to the chair beside her. "Sit, we've already ordered champagne. I hope you can keep up with the menu tonight. It's quite exclusive." I take my seat, feeling the familiar weight of their judgment. The table is a showcase of wealth. Preston in a Brioni suit, my father's Rolex glinting, Cassandra's diamond earrings catching the light. My navy dress, though meticulously crafted, feels like a target. I notice a few other guests glancing my way, their expressions curious. They're not my family's friends, they're Chicago's fashion crowd, people who've worn my designs without knowing it. I catch the eye of a woman in a silver gown I recognize, one of my spring collection pieces, sold out in hours. She smiles, unaware of who I am, and I return a subtle nod. The gala's program begins with a speech from Cassandra, who takes the stage with the grace of a seasoned performer. "Tonight," she says, her voice amplified, "we celebrate style, not just as fashion, but as a legacy of elegance and influence. The Harper Foundation is proud to honor those who shape our world with beauty." The crowd applauds, and I clap politely, noting the irony. Cassandra's idea of style is borrowed, a collage of trends she buys but doesn't understand. My style is earned, stitched into every seam of my life. As she returns to the table, the first course arrives, a delicate amuse-bouche of smoked salmon and caviar. Cassandra leans toward me, her voice low. "I hope you're enjoying this, Elise. It's not exactly your usual thrift store fare." Her smile is venomous, and I feel a spark of anger. But I don't react. Not yet.
I take a sip of champagne, letting the bubbles steady me.
The night is young, and I've planned this moment for years. The runway show is next, a highlight of the gala. Models begin strutting down the velvet path, wearing designs from Chicago's top boutiques. I recognize some of the pieces, safe, predictable choices from brands that prioritize profit over creativity. Cassandra whispers to Preston, pointing at a beaded gown. "That's a Lauren original. I'm bidding on it for the foundation's auction."
I biete my tongue.
Lauren's work is fine, but it's not revolutionary. My designs, on the other hand, have been called the future of fashion by Vogue. And tonight, they're about to take center stage. As the models continue, I notice Sophie, the event staffer, hovering nearby. She catches my eye, her expression nervous but excited. I give her a slight nod, the signal we've rehearsed. Sophie slips away, and I feel a thrill of anticipation. The plan is in motion. Cassandra, oblivious, continues her commentary, critiquing each outfit with the confidence of someone who's never held a needle. "That skirt is dreadful," she murmurs, pointing at a model. "Elise, you'd probably love it. It looks like something you'd patch together." I smile, letting her words roll off me. "Maybe," I say, my tone neutral. "But style is subjective, isn't it?" She raises an eyebrow, clearly expecting me to crumble under her barb. But I don't. I've spent years building armor stronger than her insults.
The runway show pauses, and the anxiety steps forward, a tall man in a velvet blazer.
"Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, "we have a special surprise tonight. A last-minute addition to our show, courtesy of a designer whose work has redefined modern elegance. Please welcome the visionary behind Elysian Threads. The crowd erupts in applause, and I feel my heart race. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. Cassandra frowns, glancing at Preston.
Elysian Threads?
I don't recall approving that.
My parents exchange confused looks, and I keep my expression serene, sipping my champagne.
The lights dim, and the first model steps onto the runway, wearing a gown from my fall collection. A cascade of midnight blue silk with hand-embroidered stars that shimmer like a night sky. The ballroom of the Grand Meridian Hotel pulses with anticipation as the first model glides down the runway, her midnight blue gown, a signature piece from my Elysian Threads fall collection, catching the light like a constellation brought to life. The hand-embroidered stars, each one stitched during late nights in my Brooklyn studio, shimmer with every step. The crowd leans forward, their murmurs of awe rippling through the room. I sit at my sister Cassandra's table, my navy thrift store dress a deliberate contrast to the opulence around me, and keep my expression neutral. Cassandra, oblivious to the fact that this is my design, studies the gown with a mix of curiosity and envy. "That's striking," she mutters to her husband Preston, her tone grudging. "But it's not on the program. Who authorized this?"
I take a slow sip of champagne, letting the bubbles mask the adrenaline coursing through me.
5 years of sweat, sacrifice, and secrecy have led to this moment. Tonight, I'm not just Elise Harper, the family disappointment who plays with fabric. I'm the founder of Elysian Threads, a fashion empire that's dressed Oscar winners and topped Neiman Marcus sales charts. And Cassandra, who spent the evening mocking my outfit and my dreams, is about to learn the truth, on my terms. The MC's voice cuts through the chatter. Elysian Threads redefines elegance with a bold vision, he says, his words echoing off the ballroom's gilded walls. Each piece tells a story of resilience and artistry. Another model steps out, this time in a tailored jumpsuit from my spring line, crisp ivory crepe with a plunging neckline and a belt of braided gold leather. The crowd applauds, and I catch the eye of Sophie, the event staffer I've coordinated with. She's stationed near the runway, her nervous energy barely contained. I give her a subtle nod, signaling that everything's on track. Sophie slips behind a curtain, likely checking in with my team backstage. Lila, my assistant, is there, overseeing the models and ensuring every detail aligns with my vision. Cassandra leans toward me, her crimson gown rustling. "This is a bit much, don't you think?" she whispers, her voice dripping with condescension. "Some unknown designer crashing my gala? I'll have to speak to the organizers." My mother, Victoria, nods in agreement, her emerald silk dress catching the chandelier's glow. "It's bold, but it disrupts the schedule," she says, her tone that of someone used to controlling every variable. My father, Edward, merely grunts, his attention fixed on his phone, probably checking stock prices. Preston, ever the opportunist, scans the room, likely calculating which guests he can network with once the show ends. I smile faintly, letting their comments slide. "Maybe it's a pleasant surprise," I say, my voice calm but laced with intent. Cassandra raises an eyebrow, clearly expecting me to shrink under her scrutiny. She's always underestimated me, assuming her world of galas and hedge funds is the only one that matters. Growing up, she'd parade her designer dresses while I patched together outfits from thrift stores, her laughter cutting deeper than any scissors. "Elise, you're so resourceful," she'd say, as if my creativity was a consolation prize for failure. Tonight, that narrative ends. The runway show continues, each Elysian Threads piece more daring than the last. A model in a sculptural black coat with origami-inspired folds draws gasps. Another in a flowing coral dress with hand-painted floral motifs earns a standing ovation from a group of fashion editors near the front. I recognize some of them, reporters from Vogue and Harper's Bazaar who've praised my work without ever meeting me. I've kept a low profile, letting Elysian Threads speak for itself. No headshots, no interviews, just the clothes. It's been a deliberate choice, one that's allowed me to build my empire without the Harper family's shadow, or their interference. As the show progresses, I feel the weight of their gazes. My mother's eyes linger on my dress, her disapproval palpable. "Elise, you could have borrowed something from my closet," she says, her voice low but sharp. "This event is about appearances. My father looks up from his phone, his expression stern. You're representing the family, Elise. That outfit doesn't reflect our status. Cassandra smirks, swirling her champagne. Oh, let her be, mother. Elise has always preferred her unique style. Isn't that right? I meet her gaze, unflinching. I dress for myself, Cassandra, not for your approval. The words are quiet but firm, and for a moment, her smirk falters. She's not used to me pushing back. In the Harper household, I was the quiet one, the one who absorbed their criticism and kept sketching in the shadows. But I'm not that girl anymore. I've built a brand that's grossed $12 million in revenue this year, with flagship stores in New York, Los Angeles, and Paris. I've dressed A-list celebrities for the Met Gala and collaborated with artisans in Milan. And tonight, I'm here to rewrite the story they've told about me. The next model appears, wearing a gown that's one of my proudest creations, a deep emerald chiffon dress with a cascading train, its bodice encrusted with hand-sewn crystals that mimic a starry night. It's a piece I designed after my first year in New York, when I was sleeping on a cot in Vivian Lawrence studio, surviving on instant noodles and dreams. The crowd erupts, and I notice a woman in the front row, Marissa Chen, a buyer for Saks Fifth Avenue, scribbling furiously in her notebook. Marissa's been a supporter of Elysian Threads since our first collection, though she's never met me in person. I make a mental note to thank her later. Cassandra's expression sours as the applause grows louder. This is getting out of hand, she mutters, signaling a server. I need to speak to the event manager. This wasn't approved. Preston places a hand on her arm, his voice smooth. Relax, darling. It's drawing attention to your gala. That's what you want, isn't it? She glares at him but relents, her fingers tightening around her glass.
Isopress a smile.
Cassandra's always been obsessed with control, but tonight, she's a guest in my world. The show builds to its finale, and I feel a flutter of nerves. This is the moment I've planned for months, ever since Cassandra's invitation arrived. I knew she'd chosen the Grand Meridian because it's Chicago's pinnacle of prestige, the perfect stage for her to shine. But she didn't know that Elysian Threads has a contract with the hotel, supplying custom uniforms for their staff and exclusive designs for their events. When her team booked the gala, my contacts here alerted me. It was the opportunity I'd been waiting for, a chance to face my family not as the failure they imagine, but as the visionary they never saw coming. The MC steps forward again, his voice booming. Before our final look, let's take a moment to honor the designer behind Elysian Threads, a name that's transformed the fashion world with its fearless creativity.
The crowd putzes, and I feel my pulse quicken. Cassandras eyes narrow, her suspicion growing.
My parents shift in their seats, clearly puzzled. Preston leans forward, sensing a business opportunity. Elysian Threads, he murmurs. I've heard of them. Big in New York, right? The final model appears, and the room falls silent. She's wearing the centerpiece of my collection, a couture gown inspired by my grandmother's vintage sketches, the ones I found in the attic all those years ago. It's a masterpiece of ivory silk tulle, layered with delicate lace appliques and a hand-beaded bodice that took my team 3 months to complete. The train flows behind her like a river of moonlight, and as she pauses at the end of the runway, the spotlight catches the beads, scattering prisms across the ballroom. The crowd leaps to their feet, the applause deafening. Cassandra's jaw tightens, and I know she's torn between admiration and irritation. My mother claps politely, but her eyes dart to me, as if sensing something's amiss. My father sets down his phone, his interest piqued for the first time all night. I keep my composure, but inside, I'm electric.
This is my moment, the prelude to the truth.
Sophie reappears at my side, her voice a whisper. Miss Harper, everything's ready. Lila says the team's waiting for your signal.
I note, my heart pounding.
Thank you, Sophie. Tell her 5 minutes. She hurries off, and I turn back to the table, where Cassandra's now whispering furiously to Preston.
This is my gala, she hisses.
How dare they hijack it with some uninvited designer? Maybe it's a mix-up, Preston offers, but his tone is distracted. He's watching the runway, clearly impressed. I take another sip of champagne, savoring the irony. Cassandra spent the evening mocking my crafty dress, unaware that the designs she's dismissing are mine. The Grand Meridian Hotel's ballroom hums with the energy of the Gala's auction phase, the air thick with the scent of expensive perfume and the clink of champagne flutes.
I viv trug se kraut, mai nevi trifft stor dress a quid rebellion agenste sequins and silks arund me.
My grandmother's pearl pendant rests against my collarbone, a grounding reminder of the dreams I chased when no one believed in me. Moments ago, I left my family's table in stunned silence, their faces a mix of shock and resentment after I revealed myself as the designer behind Elysian Threads. Cassandra's grip on my wrist, her hissed warning that this isn't over, lingers in my mind, but I push it aside. I've spent 5 years building an empire, Elysian Threads, a fashion label that's reshaped the industry, and tonight, I'm here to cement its legacy, not to dwell on their approval. I approach the auction display, where several of my designs are showcased on sleek mannequins. A coral dress with hand-painted florals glows under the spotlights, its delicate silhouette drawing a small crowd. Nearby, a sculptural black coat with origami folds stands like a piece of modern art. Marissa Chun, the Saks Fifth Avenue buyer who's championed Elysian Threads since our first collection, spots me and waves me over. "Elise, that speech was phenomenal," she says, her eyes bright. "Your designs are stealing the show. We need to talk about expanding your line at Saks, maybe an exclusive capsule collection." I smile, my professional mask firmly in place despite the emotional storm I've just weathered. "I'd love that, Marissa. Let's set up a meeting next week." She nods, scribbling a note in her planner, and I feel a flicker of pride. Marissa's support has been instrumental, but it's my team, Lila, Sophie, and the artisans in my Brooklyn studio, who've turned my vision into reality. Speaking of Lila, I catch sight of her near the runway, coordinating with the event staff to ensure the post-show mingle goes smoothly. She's in a tailored Elysian jumpsuit, her clipboard a constant companion. I give her a subtle thumbs up, and she grins, mouthing, "You killed it." The auctioneer's voice booms, announcing the first item, a beaded gown from a Chicago boutique. Bids climb quickly, but I notice the energy shifts when my coral dress is presented. "From Elysian Threads, a masterpiece of craftsmanship," the auctioneer says, and the room buzzes. A woman in a silver Elysian gown, sold out last spring, raises her paddle, sparking a bidding war. The final price, $15,000, with proceeds going to Cassandra's Harper Foundation. The irony isn't lost on me. Cassandra's Gala is profiting from the designs she dismissed as crafty. I'm about to join Lila when I hear heels clicking behind me. Turning, I find Cassandra, her crimson gown striking but her expression stormy. My parents trail her, my mother's emerald silk shawl slipping slightly, my father's tuxedo pristine but his face taut. Preston lingers a step behind, his eyes gleaming with opportunism. The crowd parts slightly, sensing the tension, though most guests are too absorbed in the auction to notice. "Elise," Cassandra says, her voice low but sharp, "we need to talk. Now."
I cross my arms, standing my ground.
"I have business to attend to, Cassandra. If you want to talk, it can wait." Her eyes narrow, and I see the same calculating glint I remember from childhood, her need to control, to win. "This is my event," she hisses, "and you've turned it into your personal stage. You owe us an explanation."
"Oh you."
I laugh softly, the sound edged with years of suppressed frustration.
"I don't owe you anything."
"You invited me here, mocked me all night, and now you're upset because I'm not the failure you expected." My mother steps forward, her voice pleading. "Elise darling, this isn't the place. Let's discuss this privately, as a family." My father nods, his tone authoritative.
"You've made your point, Elise."
"But ambushing us like this was unnecessary." "Unnecessary?" I meet his gaze, unflinching. What was unnecessary was cutting me off when I chose fashion, telling me I'd embarrassed the Harper name.
Laughing at my dreams. I turn to Cassandra.
"And you, calling my work cute little doodles, saying I'd come crawling back. I didn't ambush you. I showed you the truth." The words are calm but razor-sharp, and I see Cassandra flinch, her composure cracking. Preston clears his throat, his voice smooth. "Elise, let's be reasonable. Your success is impressive. My firm could help you leverage it. Partnerships, investments.
I don't need your help, Preston, I interrupt, my tone cold.
Elysian Threads is opening a Tokyo store next year. We are projecting $20 million in revenue.
We got this.
His face falls, and I feel a spark of satisfaction. Cassandra's voice rises, drawing a few curious glances.
You're so smug, Elise.
You let us sit there, judging your ridiculous dress, knowing you were behind those designs. That's not success, that's spite. I step closer, my voice low but firm.
Spite? No, Cassandra.
This is clarity. I wanted to see how you'd treat me if you thought I was still struggling. And you showed me exactly who you are. My mother's hand flutters to her pearls, her voice trembling. Elise, we didn't know. If you'd told us about your achievements, we would have been proud. My father nods, his tone softer but still patronizing. You've clearly inherited our business sense. We could have guided you.
I shake my head, a bitter smile tugging at my lips.
You don't get to claim this. I built Elysian Threads without your money, your connections, or your approval.
This is mine.
The auctioneer's voice cuts through, announcing my black coat, which sells for $18,000. The crowd cheers, and I see Marissa Chen bidding on another piece. My world, the one I've created, is thriving, even as my family tries to pull me back into theirs. Cassandra's eyes glisten, but it's not sadness, it's fury. You think you're better than us now? She snaps. You're still the same Elise, playing dress-up, craving attention. Her words sting, but they don't wound like they once did. I've spent years shedding the insecurity she nurtured.
I don't need your attention, I say, my voice steady.
I needed your respect, and you couldn't give it. Not then, not now.
My mother's voice breaks in, desperate. Elise, please.
We're family.
Let's not leave it like this.
My father's expression softens, a rare crack in his armor.
We misjudged you, Elise. Let's start over. Dinner at the house tomorrow.
We can discuss how to support your business. The word business sounds forced, as if he's still grappling with the idea that fashion could be an empire. I hesitate, the weight of their words pressing against me. Part of me wants to walk away, to sever the ties that have only ever hurt. But another part, the part that remembers late-night talks with Cassandra before she became the golden child, the part that still loves the parents who raised me, pauses. Healing doesn't mean surrender. It means setting boundaries, demanding respect. I'll think about it, I say finally. But if we talk, it's on my terms. No more comments about my choices, no more unsolicited advice, and no networking through my brand. I glance at Preston, who looks suitably chastened. Cassandra's face twists, but before she can respond, Lila approaches, her clipboard tucked under her arm. Elise, the editors from Vogue and Bazaar are ready for the meet and greet. Marissa's asking for you too. Her presence is a lifeline, a reminder of the world waiting for me.
I note, turning back to my family.
I have to go. Enjoy the auction. I walk away, feeling their eyes on my back, but I don't look back. The crowd swallows me, their whispers of admiration a stark contrast to the judgment I've left behind. The meet and greet is a blur of handshakes and compliments. I pose for photos with Marissa and the editors, discuss potential collaborations, and accept a flood of business cards. Sophie hovers nearby, ensuring everything runs smoothly, her pride evident. As the gala winds down, I slip into a quieter corner of the ballroom, where the runway is being dismantled. Lila joins me, her eyes sparkling. You were incredible, she says. The look on their faces when you took the stage? Priceless.
I lauk, the tension easing.
It felt good. But it's not just about them. It's about us, what we've built. Lila nods, her expression serious. You showed them, Elise. But more importantly, you showed yourself. Her words hit deep, and I realize she's right. For years, I carried their doubts like a weight, even as I built Elysian Threads. Tonight, I let that weight go. As guests begin to leave, I spot my family near the exit. Cassandra's talking to a group of donors, her smile forced. My parents are with Preston, their heads bent in conversation. I don't approach them. Instead, I text Lila, meet me at the studio tomorrow. We've got Tokyo to plan. The future is mine, and I'm ready to claim it. The Grand Meridian Hotel's ballroom is nearly empty now, its chandeliers casting a soft glow over the remnants of Cassandra's gala. The white velvet runway has been dismantled, the auction tables cleared, and the last guests are trickling out, their voices fading into the marble lobby. I stand by a floor-to-ceiling window, my navy thrift store dress still crisp despite the long evening, my grandmother's pearl pendant a quiet anchor at my throat. Outside, Chicago's skyline sparkles, a mosaic of ambition and dreams. Much like the empire I've built with Elysian threads. Tonight, I revealed my success to my family, appending their narrative of me as the failure who plays with fabric. Cassandra's shock, my parents' disbelief, and Preston's opportunism are still fresh, but as I watch the city lights, I feel a profound shift. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my story, and finding peace in the life I've sewn together. Lila, my assistant, approaches, her tailored Elysian jumpsuit a testament to our shared journey. The editors loved you, she says, her clipboard finally set aside. Vogue wants a feature, and Marissa's pushing for a meeting about that Saks capsule collection. Her eyes sparkle with pride, and I smile, grateful for her unwavering support.
You made to nicht happen, Lila.
Thank you. She shrugs, but her grin betrays her excitement. We did this together, Elise. Now, go home and get some sleep.
Tokyo's waiting.
I nod, but I linger by the window, my thoughts drifting to the family I left behind at the gala's exit. Cassandra's forced smile as she spoke to donors, my mother's pleading voice, my father's rare admission of fault, they're all pieces of a puzzle I'm still solving. 4 years, their rejection fueled me, pushing me to build Elysian threads into a $12 million empire with stores in New York, Los Angeles, and Paris. But tonight, I realized something deeper. I don't need their approval anymore. I've proven my worth to myself, and that's enough.
Es igata my clutch, Sophie, the event staffer was being my Ellie, Horace over.
Miss Harper, I just wanted to say, you were incredible tonight, she says, her voice earnest. I'm studying fashion at Columbia College, and seeing you up there, it means everything. Her words catch me off guard, and I feel a warmth spread through me. Thank you, Sophie. Keep designing.
Don't let Anione tell you it's not enough.
She beams, promising to email me her portfolio, and I make a mental note to connect her with my team. Moments like this remind me why I started Elysian. Not just to prove my family wrong, but to create a legacy for dreamers like Sophie like me. I step into the lobby, the marble cool under my heels, and spot my family near the entrance. Cassandra's crimson gown stands out, but her posture is less confident, her arms crossed tightly. My mother, Victoria, adjusts her emerald shawl, her eyes scanning the crowd, likely for me. My father, Edward, stands rigid, his tuxedo impeccable but his expression softer than usual. Preston hovers, checking his phone, probably plotting how to spin tonight's revelation for his firm. They haven't left, and I know why. They want closure or control, or maybe something else entirely. I consider slipping out a side exit, avoiding another confrontation. But I've spent too long running from their judgment. I walk toward them, my steps deliberate, and Cassandra notices me first. Her eyes narrow, but there's a flicker of something new, uncertainty, maybe even respect. Elise, she says, her voice quieter than before. We weren't sure you'd come back. I almost didn't, I admit, stopping a few feet away. My mother steps forward, her voice trembling.
Elise, please. Let's not end the night like this.
We're family. My father clears his throat, his tone measured.
You ve done well, Elise.
We underestimated you, and I regret that. Let's talk properly.
Tomorrow, at the house.
I study them, searching for sincerity. Growing up, the Harper mansion was a stage for their expectations. Cassandra the star, me the understudy who never got her lines right. Their rejection when I chose fashion over Northwestern cut deep, but it also freed me. I built Elysian threads without their help, stitching together a life of purpose and passion. Yet, standing here, I see not just the parents who dismissed me, but the ones who taught me resilience, however unintentionally. I see not just the sister who mocked me, but the girl who once shared secrets under the covers. I'll come, I say finally, my voice steady. But this isn't a reset button. If we're going to have a relationship, it's on equal terms. No more judging my career, no more assuming you know what's best for me.
I glance et Preston.
And no business pitches. He flushes, pocketing his phone, and I suppress a smile. Cassandra's expression wavers, and she steps closer, her voice low. I was wrong, Elise.
The things I said to nicht.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. Her apology catches me off guard. Cassandra doesn't apologize. She deflects, she wins. But her eyes are raw, stripped of their usual armor. I nod, not ready to forgive but willing to listen.
VLL tog tomorrow, I say.
But I meant what I said.
Respect or nothing.
My mother's eyes glisten, and she reaches for my hand, but I step back, not quite ready for that. My father offers a rare nod of acknowledgement, and I turn to leave, feeling lighter than I expected.
The next morning, I wake in my Chicago hotel room, Sunlicht streaming through the windows.
I've rented a suite for the week, a far cry from the cramped Brooklyn loft where Elysian began. Over coffee, I text Lila, confirming our studio meeting to plan the Tokyo store. My phone buzzes with a message from Cassandra. Brunch at 11? The house.
Just US, no press. I hesitate, ten reply, il bitere.
It's not reconciliation, not yet, but it's a start. Brunch at the Harper Mansion is surreal. The dining room, with its mahogany table and crystal chandelier, feels smaller than I remember. Cassandra's in a simple sweater, her usual glamour dialed back. My parents are cautious, their questions genuine, about my designs, my team, my vision for Elysian. I answer honestly, sharing stories of late nights in Vivian Lawrence studio, of the first time I saw my gown on a red carpet.
Cassandra listens quietly, her fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup.
When she speaks, it's halting. I was jealous, Elise. You were always so free. I thought I had to keep you in your place to feel secure. Her admission stuns me. Jealousy?
From the golden child?
I don't respond immediately, letting the words settle. I just wanted you to see me, I say finally. Not as a rival, but as your sister. She nods, her eyes glistening, and for the first time in years, I see the girl I once knew. My parents share their own regrets, their voices softer than I've ever heard. It's not a fairy tale ending, too much history for that, but it's a fragile beginning. The weeks that follow are a whirlwind. I return to New York, diving into Elysian's expansion plans. The Tokyo store is set to open next spring, and we're finalizing a collaboration with Saks. My Vogue feature hit stands, with a cover photo of me in that navy dress, titled Elise Harper, the visionary behind Elysian Threads. The article details my journey, from Chicago's suburbs to global runways, and I smile at the line, Harper's empire is built on authenticity, not approval. I launch a mentorship program for young designers, inspired by Sophie's enthusiasm at the Gala. Every Saturday, my Brooklyn studio becomes a classroom for 10 aspiring artists, their sketches reminding me of my own teenage dreams. One student, Aisha, shows promise with her bold textile patterns, and I offer her an internship. Watching her confidence grow feels like closing a circle, giving others the chance I fought for. My family's outreach continues, tentative but steady. Cassandra texts about her foundation, asking for design advice for their next event. I send her a few sketches, a small gesture. My mother calls weekly, her questions about my work genuine, if awkward. My father emails an article about women in fashion, a silent attempt to understand my world. Even Preston reaches out, offering tickets to a charity event, no business pitch attached. These are small steps, not a Hollywood reconciliation, but they're real. Healing, I've learned, isn't a grand gesture, it's the quiet rewriting of old patterns.
One evening, I sit in my studio, the city's hum filtering through the windows.
My sketchbook is open to a new collection, inspired by Chicago's skyline and my grandmother's vintage gowns. I begin to write the foreword for my upcoming book, Threads of Truth, a blend of designs and stories from my journey.
Fashion is my language, Ivrette.
When words failed, I spoke through seams. When doubt loomed, I followed my needle. These designs are more than clothes, They're chapters of a life lived for authenticity, not applause.
I set down my pen, the words flowing freely.
Tomorrow brings new challenges: vendor negotiations, Aisha's internship, Cassandra's event sketches. But tonight, I'm at peace. The gala wasn't the end of my story. It was a turning point, a moment where I stopped measuring my worth through my family's eyes. I found something greater than their validation: myself. Have you ever had to stand up to those who doubted you, to claim your truth against their expectations? Share your story below, and if this resonated, hit that like button. Subscribe for more tales of triumph, and share this with someone who needs a reminder that the greatest empire is the one you build within.